Theo Boy Genius. Hey, hey, welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up. This is where I bring most of people, it's just a couple of cool people talking the best sport in the world. Uh, Today, it's been a while. Last time we had him on, he was in this burning cauldron that is the United States. Now he is in a burning cauldron that is called the UK.
No lies detected.
Oh man, but I'm super excited to chat with him. He has been busy soaking in all of the football and writing all the articles. Fresh after watching Arsenal lift another trophy that they just have not shut up about. Shady Gang, give it up to our good friend Theo.
Hello. So good to be here. What an intro. That's very, very sweet of you. Always love chopping it up with you. It really is some of the most friendly, kind-hearted, hardest working people in this beautiful game, as he's put it. So it's always great to be here. And yeah, love being part of the family.
What, what a kind thing for you to say back. Oh, well, before we just hop around topics and leagues and things like that,
Yeah.
let's start off with what do you think is overrated or underrated about football? Let's start with overrated.
So overrated. This is now, a couple of weeks into February. But I was thinking the January transfer window might have hit overrated now. I feel like for a while it was pretty underrated and or rated, but I feel like we've pushed past the January transfer window being rated and it feels pretty overrated now.
I guess why is that? Is it just because not really much happens during it, or
Yes, not really much happens anymore. I think the the reality is that football I think has become a lot more about planning and sporting directors, etc. There's so many more people like working at a club, recruitment analysts, that the idea of the sort of middle of the night transfers where managers and clubs are under so much pressure to make something happen that they'll do anything on deadline day has sort of gone out the window with modern football. And so I do think men's and women's football really we saw a very, very quiet January transfer window outside of basically Sam Coffey to Man City. There was very, very little big blockbuster business, big transfer fees, or even big moves. And I think obviously it's different for leagues that play on different schedules. So in the NWSL, it's not really a January transfer deadline day kind of move, but we did see Croy and Claire Hutton. That day of transfers was actually pretty mega, but I would say that technically was outside the traditional kind of Euro January transfer window. So the January transfer window seems kind of tired. The kind of post draft NWSL preseason transfer window is kind of wired.
I love it. I love it. What do you think is underrated about football?
Underrated, I think right now, and this is partly because I've moved back home to London, United Kingdom, is away matches. Go to away matches. I mean, go to all football matches, as our good friend Andre Carlisle always says. Go to games, but go to games as an away fan is actually that's the next thing to unlock. Like increase your difficulty settings because being an away fan is so much fun. Since coming back home, I've been going to a lot of away games with my beloved Queens Park Rangers, and it kind of reminds you about the culture and rhythm of football, and it's something really special about being in that sort of pocket of fans that are in somebody else's fortress. And you get to like travel, you get to go to a different pub, you get to see different towns, you get to kind of explore, and you have this big whole day out around the football, which is a lot of fun as well.
And I don't assume QPR supporters are like known for mischief, so you can just go have nice
No
chill away
mischief.
days and just have some pints and
Nice chill away
vibes are
days.
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'm looking for like the best flat white in Bristol,
Okay.
or where is the best burger in Charlton, or a nice, brewery on the river. Like I'm not causing any mischief. And I tell you what, I don't really see any mischief around me. So I'm sure I'm sure there's always a bad
Of
couple of bad
course.
eggs. What are they? What are they? What is that the metaphor? Bad eggs
Yeah, bad eggs.
in
Yep.
the bag? Bad eggs.
Rotten
There
eggs.
might be
Yep.
a couple of bad eggs out there, but I'm not really. I haven't been partial to any mischief, but I will get back to you if and when it occurs.
Well, look forward to that update. Let's talk WSL.
Yeah. Can I say actually? Can I shout out
Oh,
the
please.
like 250 Liverpool fans that travelled to Chelsea Liverpool on
Mm,
Sunday at
wow.
Kingsmeadow? I was there, and I was really impressed with the Liverpool away end. It looked close to sold out, whatever like small allocation they'd been given, and I think they did a really amazing job. So while we're talking away fans, it was. I think we're only just starting to see away fans in the WSL the last couple of years, and yeah, the Liverpool fans in their small but mighty number did a really good job on Sunday in the rain.
This isn't on the docket, but it made me think of this.
Yeah.
The changes in the way WSL is trying to roll the game.
Mm,
Obviously, they're focusing more on the broadcasting aspect and the match day, match going fans, which has made things a little difficult, especially like technically at what was it? It was the late game because a lot of the games are starting at 11:55 noon. So
yeah.
anything later than
Yeah.
that is a positive, but I hate it because I mean I'm having to wake up at 6 a.m. I can only
Yeah.
imagine the people who have to like travel. I pay attention to our good friends at City Women Official Supporter Group when they went to Arsenal. They were waking up at like 3 a.m. to take the coach down to London. Like I just can't imagine having to do that just to support your club. Just
Underrated.
yeah,
Underrated.
exactly. But I guess especially now that they're in England. So what are you hearing? Do you think these changes to grow the game from a broadcasting aspect has helped it? Has it hurt the traveling fans more? Like, is what are your beliefs in this whole the change?
I think the traveling fans, from what I can tell, is more about the club than the kickoff time, because your Arsenals, your Manchester Uniteds, who have taken really good away fans, like I said, Liverpool, I thought did a really good job on Sunday. Those fan bases have enough committed people to do that trek. I was actually at Villa Park back in September, which is quite a long time ago now. But Chelsea actually took a lot of people to that game. Birmingham's not too far from London, and that was a 1 or 2 p.m. kickoff, maybe not a noon on a Sunday. So I don't think my point is sort of like if you're committed, you're committed,
Mm,
right? It doesn't really matter when the kickoff time is.
that's fair.
A good kickoff time is going to help, but I actually think it probably affects the home crowd more because you probably have more people who are not as committed, and thus the kickoff time might sway them either way.
Mm,
I also think people forget that one of the largest proportions of people who want to go and to the football are people that play football, and a lot of youth football takes place on Sunday morning. So I don't have any data to back this up, but I do think that early kickoffs must affect young kids who play football and can't actually get to the game because they're like out playing on a Sunday morning. Because that's when I used to play football on Saturday and Sunday morning. So I do think that's quite tough. The early kickoffs. I don't really have any TV data to necessarily suggest that it's got a big boost. But my overall feeling when I talk to fans, media, players, front office people at clubs, when we're having a lot of these conversations around the UK at the moment, and I feel like no one's really happy or they haven't really found the answer. I don't think they are celebrating anything this year, but I don't think they're also like scratching their heads or screaming into the sky in anguish. I think they're it's almost just it's like an A/B testing phase. I think they haven't figured out
Mm-hmm.
what necessarily the best window is for the WSL. I think the most people don't seem to like the earlier kickoffs, but I know they, a couple of years ago, or was it last year, they were trialing the 6:30 p.m. the late kickoff, actually late kickoff on Sundays, and people apparently didn't like that, or they felt like not enough families were coming out to that game. So I think they're trying different things. Like, it's not the last time we'll have this debate about when the perfect time for WSL kickoffs are, but I don't think they've cracked it. And I think pushing more games to the noon 11:55 a.m. slot, I don't think has attendances are not up, especially coming off the back of the Euros. You'd maybe think there was a bigger bump. I actually think, again, going back to away fans, right? Certain clubs are doing well. I think when you look at attendance in the WSL, it's like certain clubs are doing well and certain clubs aren't, and it's not as much to do with kickoff times as just what is the investment from the fan base, what is the investment from the front office, and do they have a big buy-in? Everton is maybe an interesting example because they've had kind of a bad season, but actually moving to Goodison Park, a ground that has so much history and familiarity with the fan base, has brought out more fans. So you could argue Everton off the pitch is doing a lot right, and then on the pitch they've kind of had a bit of a dodgy year. Although weirdly, 3 wins in a row now for Everton after another win at the weekend. So kind of weirdly on a bit of a comeback. But Brighton, obviously playing out in Crawley in a League Two ground, number of miles from Brighton proper. Their pitch is waterlogged because of all the rain we've been having over here. It gets cancelled against Arsenal. You had Arsenal away fans travelling down. They were already on the train when that game was cancelled an hour and a half before kickoff. So that's a huge mess
Wow.
for WSL. If we're going to have the full WSL admin chat. So yeah, I don't. It's not like it was kind of a long answer, but yeah, I don't think we have a huge consensus on when the right time is. I don't think we've seen a huge increase in attendances or decrease in attendances. I think the clubs that are doing well are doing well, and the clubs that aren't doing well aren't doing well. And I think the biggest thing actually is probably where these games are played. So Goodison Park, for example, is going to bring a better crowd than their